One, two, three. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Da, 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 da.
Yesterday they had one, Harlem House or something like that. I was on there listening to them yesterday, Seed and Spark.
Yeah. I think they're doing a circuit. They're going around. They're hitting up all the film events and conferences. Give filmmakers the opportunity to not rely on a sales agent or a distributor.
Right.
It's literally taking your film from concept all the way through distribution. And they do a really good job of giving people tools to be able to do that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at trying to finance our project, and in doing crowdfunding, you're right, it is really challenging. And I think one difference is that it's probably so much different now than when crowdfunding first became, when Kickstarter, whatever, first kicked off. Now everybody and their mama is doing it. I know. It's so hard to get to break out from the crowd, so to speak. Now, so it's really challenging. So we're doing it all the time, looking at other ways to finance your film, because not saying it's impossible, but from my experience, the last couple of projects were really, really, really challenging.
Kameishia, I got to tell this story. While sitting here looking at you, I just remembered this story, and I've probably told it to you before. But years and years ago, back in 2004, I did this film, Pieces of a Dream. And so then at 2005, the beginning, at the Gene Siskel Center, they had Oscars night. So I spent my little $175 ticket and went I went by myself, and it was cool, And then I got tickets in the mail because I spent the money to go to the Oscars, to the Black Harvest Film Festival back in 2005, August. And I remember they gave me 2 tickets. I'm like, what is this? I'm going to go. And so I went by myself, and I had the extra ticket in. And then you came in because somehow we had met while you were at Columbia College or somewhere doing something. I was like, hey, Kameishia. So I was like, who am I going to give this ticket to? And you had a guest with you who still had to get a ticket. I said, I got an extra ticket. Go. And I gave it to you. I just remembered that, sitting there looking at you. I know you probably don't remember that.
Harold, we've bumped into each other so many times, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly who that friend is, because I've had my homies in Chicago that I used to roll with to all those events with. So I think I know who, probably one of my old roommates.
And I was just sitting here smiling like, oh my God, that's right. Way back in 2005. Yeah, August. Black Harvest. And then, you know what? I also remember the Forgotten West. You were down on the set in Kankakee.
Yeah, I worked on that a few days. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I remember sitting there doing the scene, sitting on the stump with Idris Degas. And we were doing this dramatic scene, which is on my demo reel from years ago. And you were standing there, and then after cut, you looked at me and you said something inspiring. You're like, that was... Yeah, I remember that too. So I'm sitting here having these flashback moments of times we've spent together.
Yeah.
Going down memory lane. That's what's up. So was there a moment that you knew, Kameishia, that you wanted to be a filmmaker, wanted to be a writer, director? Was there somebody's work or people's work that really inspired you?
Yeah, you know what? I was inspired by a lot of, when I was in undergrad, I did undergrad at UNC Chapel Hill. I just used to love watching Black indie films. Of course, Spike Lee inspired probably a lot of people. He was the only one doing his thing back in the 90s. But I like movies like Just Another Girl on the IRT.
Oh, that's a classic. Yeah.
That one inspired me a lot, because I was like, those are the type of films I want to make. And Have Plenty I love. Are really indie-ish type films. Like those filmmakers that came out in the late 90s, inspired me, because it just kind of made it accessible. I didn't realize until I went to school and took my first film class that you can actually go to school to be a filmmaker.
Right.
And so that's kind of what inspired me. And then I made a short film in undergrad. And I loved the whole process of it. And because I was on the law school track. And then I was like, well, and I was talking to people, and then one of the advisors was like, you probably should apply to NYU or some film school and go to film school. And so that's what I did. And I ended up choosing Columbia to go to grad school.
Well, like, were your family members and loved ones, were they cool with you going from law to filmmaking?
One cool thing I can say is the advantage of being a first generation college kid. They had, because I was the first, they was like, oh yeah, but it took my dad a long time to realize what I went to school for. Like for a long time, especially film school, because he was like, grad school for film? Like it wasn't until I would send films home for him to watch that he actually knew what I was doing. Like he couldn't comprehend me going to film school.
See, I did that.
Like, okay, Dad, this is kind of what I'm going to school to do. Like, yeah, it took him a while.
Yeah, and that reminds me of another story. My father hadn't seen my work for all these years. He passed back in 2012, but he hadn't. I used to just talk to him on the phone. Yeah, I'm an actor. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And so one day back in maybe 2011 or 10, he was up in Chicago from Florida, and I sat him down and just put film after film after film after film, and just sat there and just watched him. He didn't know. So it's a beautiful thing where you can share with your family and your people that this is what I'm actually doing, and I'm doing well at it. And so that was a beautiful story that you can send that to your dad and say, look, Dad.
And then he started showing people, especially when I got a website, like the insurance guy. He'll call me from the insurance office. He's like, hey, what's your website again so I can show so-and-so?
Yes. That's what's up. You did a short with Christina Anthony?
Yes. Stolen Pearls, yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we were in a theater troupe together here in Chicago, and we were in the Second City together. So I was looking at your website and said, I didn't get a chance to finish looking at it, but I saw she was in it.
Yeah, Christina is doing her thing. Like
she's doing it.
Yeah, it's so great to see people early on in their careers and just see that hustle. Because I've been in contact with Christina off and on over the years, and just to see her hit it, like really see the fruits of her labor pay off is really, it's rewarding for me to be like a fan of hers and just like know that I've worked with her early on in her career, and just to know how bad she wanted it, and just
no doubt,
and to see how hard she's worked, and now she's got it.
Oh, no question. Just a side, I remember we were like emailing back and forth at the theater troupe, and Christina had sent an email, might have been like a year or two, maybe 3 years before she landed Blackish. And she was kind of saying how things were challenging.
Is it mixed?
Mixed, my bad, mixed, right? And she was kind of saying how things were challenging, so on and so forth. And then a number of people hit her back saying, keep the faith, you got to keep your chin up, so on and so forth. And then a couple years later, Mixed just popped off. And I think that's part of it, that whatever, as corny as it sounds, whatever height you want to hit, you got to stay on that grind.
Yeah.
Because you may be striking out, getting a no, and be just that close to things popping off. So always kind of staying in it and keeping the faith.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. People want to throw in a towel when they're close, because I've seen it all the time. People ready to quit, and then boom, you have your suddenly moment. You just gotta, what do you call it? You gotta just stick with it. Like, be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, you had LaDonna Tittle in the middle in Southern Cross, and LaDonna's still here in Chicago doing her thing.
I know, on the Shy, like, yeah, LaDonna is like, I love LaDonna.
I love her too.
LaDonna brings life to the set, so I'm jealous with the cast and crew of the Shy, because LaDonna on Southern Cross will come to set on her days off.
Oh yeah, right.
Because she just wanted to be there, and just like, she even helped with the food, setting up the food for the dinner table scene. Like, I love LaDonna.
She was so much fun. Yeah. One quick funny story. We were shooting the dinner scene. Y'all know this story, right? And so we were shooting the dinner scene, And LaDonna Tittle had this one, whatever her line was, she kept messing up the line. And so Harold was like, come on, LaDonna. And then she got the line, and it was Harold's time to shoot. And Harold started messing up his line, right?
I was sweating.
I said, yeah, see, you put all that pressure on somebody else.
That's my favorite scene of Southern Cross, the dinner table scene. It's beautifully shot. And then all of you together at the table scene. Always, I get the fuzzies, the warm fuzzies every time I go back and watch that scene. You guys were amazing in that.
Yeah, that was a fun shoot. It was a fun shoot.
And Shavaz Ravine.
Yeah.
She's out in New York now. Oh, she's been out there forever too.
Yeah, Shavaz is a hustler. She's doing a lot of theater stuff now.
What is the theater scene like in LA?
Man, it's LA is a film and TV town, so there is theater here, but it's not. People do it, I think, just to exercise those muscles. I don't think it's people go, but I think it's really just a form of people. If it's not like Broadway, or one of the big theaters, I think people go just because they want to act and they want to stay active.
Okay. In between the movies.
Yeah,
and
in between the movies and TV, people. I think it's good. I think the best actors are those who trained in theater. So
me too.
Yeah.
So real quick, so big picture. We have 3 minutes left.
Okay.
So where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in terms of your career? Big picture. And like I said, checks in the mail popping off already. Where do you see yourself?
Definitely, of course, making thoughtful films that are entertaining and people inspire people. But I also want to help other people too. One of my dreams is to be able to help other people finance their films. And I'm hoping that God blesses me to be able to do that. That's the big picture, is to be able to finance other people's films.
Great. So along those lines, there was an aspiring filmmaker that was looking to make a career, what advice would you give them?
I don't care what life throws you or how you got to pay them bills, but make sure you're making films. I would say focus on that, building your portfolio, strengthening your craft, and never giving up.
Kameishia, if nobody told you today, I love you.
I love you too, Harold. I love you too, Brad.
We got love for you. We got love for you. No doubt about it. Hey, we appreciate it big time doing this interview with us. And no doubt, all the best of luck in the future. You have any upcoming projects coming up?
I do. I actually have a virtual screening of my latest short film, Destiny's Road, which is a proof of concept for a feature that I'm currently hoping to get financed soon. You can check it out, the Black Truth Film Festival on June 10th. Tickets are $2.
$2. No excuse, $2. And real quick, you have a website that people can check out?
Yes, KameishiaWooten.com. KameishiaWooten.com.
There you have it. Yeah. It's been a pleasure. And for Brad and
Harold,
we're out of here. Until next time, dream big, dare to be great. Later. Peace.
All right. Thank you.
Here's the showroom. That's it.
Ooh la la. Yes.